Coming up, we're breaking down the Pittsburgh Steelers 2024 schedule presented by our friends at Game Time. Get $20 off your first purchase with our code CHATSPORTS. Terms apply. And before we get into today's show, go down there in the comments section and let me know for today's pinned comment and predict the Steelers' record for the 2024 season. It's going to be very interesting. It's got a very interesting structure to the 2024 season here. So let's get into it right now on Steelers Talk. The Pittsburgh Steelers will start their 2024 campaign on the road in Atlanta to take on the Falcons. New offensive coordinator Arthur Smith will be trying to get his revenge against his old team that fired him after the end of the 2023 season. Speaking of revenge games, Russell Wilson gets his in Week 2, traveling to Mile High Stadium in Denver to take on the Broncos. In Week 3, the home opener will be against the Los Angeles Chargers. Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert in their first year will travel to Acrisure Stadium for Russell Wilson's first game in Acrisure as a Pittsburgh Steeler. Then in Week 4, you go back on the road here, so 3 road games in the first 4 weeks of the year, this time traveling to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis to take on Anthony Richardson and the Colts. Then in Week 5, you travel back to Acrisure to take on the Dallas Cowboys in what will be a very interesting matchup there early in the season, a good litmus test for the Pittsburgh Steelers there early in the year. Then in Week 6, you travel to the Las Vegas Raiders in a game you should probably win there against Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew there with the silver and black. Then you get a home game against the New York Jets not on the road, at home on Sunday Night Football. So that'll be the first primetime game of the year. And you follow that up with another primetime game against another New York opponent. The Giants will be traveling to Pittsburgh in Week 8 for Monday Night Football. So 2 straight primetime games in a row there in the middle of the campaign. Then in Week 9, a nice spot there in the middle of the season to have a bye week. I think, last year the Steelers kind of got shafted with an early bye week. This year you get one nice in the middle to give these guys a rest for the final home stretch. Then in Week 10, you go on the road and play Jaden Daniels and the Washington Commanders at FedEx Field. And that'll probably be the last, kind of truly, for sure, you should win that game for the rest of the year, because after this, it gets tough, folks. Week 11, you have a home game against the Baltimore Ravens. Of course, we know the Ravens are pretty tough, but the Steelers handle them pretty darn well. Then you have a Thursday night football matchup against the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland. Then you follow that up with your first game against the Bengals. It'll be in Cincinnati there in Week 13. Then in Week 14, you get the Browns again for the second time in 3 weeks, that time at Acrisure Stadium. Then if that gauntlet wasn't enough, right when you go outside the division again, it's the Philadelphia Eagles on the road and what's going to be a very physical matchup once again. Then just when you thought you were getting a break from the AFC North opponents, you travel to Baltimore and you play them on a Saturday there in Week 16. And then just 4 days later, you have to play the reigning champs on Christmas Day on a Wednesday, Week 17 at Acrisure Stadium. And then you're going to finish the season off with a long week to prepare for the Cincinnati Bengals for a final divisional showdown to finish out the season. So I'm going to go in depth on these games one by one here in just a second. But before we get into that, make sure you click that subscribe button right now, because we're going to be covering every single moment of the 2024 offseason and then also the regular season plus postseason for the Pittsburgh Steelers this year. We have live watch parties for every single Steelers game. They are so much fun. And we got daily Steelers videos for you guys to enjoy every single day right here on the channel for free. Breaking news coverage every time the Steelers make a move, if they make a trade, if they sign somebody, if they cut someone. We're going to have you guys covered with breaking news coverage, just like we are today with the schedule release. And we also have weekly live shows tomorrow. Coop and I, we're going to be going live on the channel, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for our weekly live show. And it's all 100% free, guys. So join the over 52,000 Yinzers already subscribed to our channel. Really do appreciate all of your support. So without further ado here, let's get into the weeks here and what kind of stands out to me. So you start with Week 1 with the Falcons, where Arthur Smith is going to be traveling back to Atlanta for the first game that he's the Pittsburgh Steelers OC. He's going to be coaching against his former team, and that actually works out well for us, I think, because he knows the personnel there in Atlanta pretty well. Obviously, they've added some pieces this offseason. Kirk Cousins, obviously he never played with Arthur Smith there in Atlanta, but he knows the personnel specifically on the defense there in Atlanta. I think he's going to know how to to attack them with Russell Wilson right away. So I think that one's a very winnable football game. And then the next 2 weeks, you got the Broncos on the road with Russell Wilson traveling to Mile High Stadium for his revenge game. It's kind of a crime that that's not a primetime game, in my opinion. At least make it a Thursday night football game, man. Like, come on, that has so much drama centered around it. That one's going to be a lot of fun, but that one is certainly winnable. And then you get the Los Angeles Chargers here in week 3, and then the Colts in week 4. And if you want to go to the home opener here, Chargers game here. This is the game time featured game that we're going to be doing on today's video. So you got the Chargers coming to Pittsburgh. It's going to be Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh here in his first year as the Chargers head coach coming to Acrisure Stadium. So if you want to go to this game, you can check out our friends at Game Time Today, and it's the fastest and easiest way to buy tickets for all the sports, music, comedy, and theater in your area. Guys, I'm somebody that likes to get tickets kind of last minute, and Game Time is perfect for those types of people because they actually reward you for procrastinating. They have the lowest price guarantee on any ticket to any event, and they have flash deals right before the event starts, so you can get even lower price tickets the longer you wait before your event. Game Time is the fastest growing ticketing app in the United States of America and is the only ticketing app on the market that gives you complete peace of mind with your purchase. See the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive, and tickets are sent directly to your phone instead of your email, which is a fantastic feature that the Game Time app provides. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS. That's one word, all caps. It's right down there in the bottom of your screen right now for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Terms do apply. Okay, guys, so if you want to go see that home opener or any Steelers football game this year, Game Time is going to be the place for you. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. Then we get to the next stretch of the schedule here where you have the Cowboys. And like I said earlier, guys, I think that's going to be a real litmus test for the Pittsburgh Steelers because I think the Steelers actually have a really good chance to be sitting at 3-1 or, maybe even 4-0 heading into week 5. And Dallas is going to be, they're a good football team. And if you can beat them even on your home turf, I think that's going to show the NFL that, yeah, the Pittsburgh Steelers could be absolutely legit during the 2024 season. Or if they lose and they lose, royally, they lose by double digits, that might send a message to the league that the Steelers may be a little bit fraudulent. Then in week 6, should absolutely be a win there in Las Vegas with the quarterback situation that they have. Steelers beat them with Kenny Pickett last year on the road. They should be able to do it with Russell Wilson this year. Then the Jets. It's going to be interesting to see how Nathaniel Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, that dynamic works there in New York. I think New York, in terms of the Jets, is going to be relatively, how do we put it here? I think it's going to be pretty disappointing this year. I don't think Nathaniel Hackett, outside of Matt LaFleur's offense with Matt calling the plays, I think Hackett's one of the worst play callers in the National Football League. We saw that last year with Zach Wilson as their quarterback. I don't think it's going to get a lot better with Aaron Rodgers. It will get better, don't get me wrong, but listen, man, he's like 40 years old coming off an Achilles tear. I think that's a very winnable football game for the Pittsburgh Steelers at home. So let me know down there in the comments section, who do you got in that first primetime game of the year for the Pittsburgh Steelers? Do you have the Steelers at home, or do you have Aaron Rodgers and the Jets upsetting the Steelers? Type PIT for the Pittsburgh Steelers or NYJ for the New York Jets. Of course, you got the Giants in Week 8 as well, and followed by the bye. And then you get another NFC East opponent on the road with the Commanders. I think that should be a win. Their offensive line is definitely worse for wear right now, and even though Jaden Daniels is extremely talented, Steelers' roster is a lot better than the Washington Commanders. That should be a good win. And by Week 10, heading into this final stretch here, the Steelers should be sitting in a very good spot. If they're not first in the division, they should at least be threatening for first in the division, and they've got to really be firmly in the playoff picture at that point in the season because you got 6 divisional games coming up here, starting with that Week 11 game against the Ravens. I think the Steelers will get at least 3 wins in the division. I know it's a good division, all these different things, but it's extremely physical, and the Steelers are built for this type of football. Later in the year, cold weather, it's going to come down to who runs the football better, who plays better defense. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers over any of these fools in the AFC North late in the season. So let me know down there in the comments section, what is the Steelers' record going to be within the division? You got 6 divisional games in the last 8 weeks. So let me know down there in the comments section, what will be the record in those 6 games. Then in Week 14, of course, you got the Browns for 2 times in the span of 3 weeks. It's going to be interesting to see how Deshaun Watson plays this year. It'll be interesting to see how injuries have affected the rosters for each respective team at this point in the season. But, just when you think you get a break from, physical football with 4 straight divisional games from Week 11 to Week 14, you have to go on the road to Philly late in the year when it's going to be cold and it's going to be physical there with the Philadelphia Eagles. That's not going to be an easy game. And then the really tough stretch here, going to play Saturday night against the Baltimore Ravens on the road, followed by playing the former champs and the Kansas City Chiefs just 4 days later on Christmas Day at home. That's going to be a tough stretch there. But what I'll say there, guys, is that, the Chiefs lost to the Las Vegas Raiders on Christmas Day last year with Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback at home. So, is it possible the Steelers that late in the season can run the football? There's going to be snow on the ground. I think the Steelers have a shot in that football game, and then we know that the Steelers can handle the Ravens as well. And then, for that final week, what's nice about Week 18 here against the Bengals is you have a nice long stretch to prepare the roster, prepare the lineup, all these different things. You have more than a week to prepare for the Cincinnati Bengals. So if that's a must-win football game to either A, win the division, or B, make the playoffs, I think the Steelers have a really good chance of coming away with a victory in that football game. So even though it's a gauntlet to finish out the season, I think the Steelers still could have success here in 2024 down that final stretch. Now it's crystal ball time. Let me know down there in the comments section. Predict the Steelers record. You let me know at the beginning of today's show. Let me know if it's changed or if it's still the same. Let me know down there in the comments section how many wins you think the Steelers come away with in 2024. That'll be it for today's show, guys. Really do appreciate all of your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button right now because we got more great Steelers content coming at you later this week. And don't forget, turn on notifications because we're going live tomorrow to talk about this schedule, to go over everything. So if you want that, additional content for breaking down this schedule here, make sure you click that subscribe button and join us 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow for Steelers Talk Live.